Hello everybody, my name is Farmer Phil, and in today's video we are going to be going back at calves for the first time in a long time in a video. There's a reason for that. We'll talk about that at the end of the video. So to give you an update on what happened with the calves, the sheds are emptied, the machinery started to go back into the sheds. Both sheds are turned off, cleaned out. Well, actually the feeders are on, they're on rinsing cycles for a while, but other than that all the calves are outside at grass. We still have a few on milk, but we'll explain more about that later on. But the job for today is the last of the calves that were in here that didn't need any extra milk, we just shut them all out here. We have a mix of good calves and middling calves, and the good calves are eating the meal out of the face, middling calves aren't getting in, and we want to separate the two. We're going to try and run all the calves out there into here and sort them. We'll be moving our good calves to the bottom squares to the field below this one, and other calves I think we're going to move to an out farm, and then I have to top it because docks is a big problem here.
You have a topper?
Yeah, we have a finger bar more. I'll set you up at it. Just go ahead. Hopefully it just doesn't take too long. Hopefully. Get them heading for the shed. Some of them are looking at the shed there, but we'll look at all the other batches of calves that are outside towards the end of the video. But first job is round all these boys up. One! So you see, likes of him wants to go to a different batch, whereas the rest of them are all good calves.
Yep.
Not lost in them. One! Hey, yep! Just about have them in now. Nelly is a real farm dog. Watch that calf.
Fucking white calf.
Don't be cursing, bro.
Come on, Nelly, get it.
The wrong side, Nelly.
Come on, Nelly.
Nelly!
Nelly, come on.
Trying to train Nelly into a farm dog, and she has good instincts.
It's her own idea.
But she likes to get in front of them quite a bit, which isn't very helpful.
She helped then, like with all the rest of them.
Yeah, he's one definitely for Mike. Put him back on the side with getting milk now. He's very raggy looking, so he is. Come on. So yeah, what are we gonna do, Liv?
There's
not
10 that are bad, and
there's
the
not
rest
even
are all
10.
fine.
There's not 10
Yeah,
that's bad.
so they can stay all together.
So you want to take out the 10 lighter.
400, 902.
Right, so you want to take out the 10 lighter calves, put them on the lawn, and we will bring back then 20 calves from the lawn that don't need to
Maybe
be there.
see how many we've got here.
And then put the whole lot down to the clump.
1, 2, 3.
Good luck counting them. About 60. So, before I forget, this video is sponsored by Herdwatch for all your farm recording needs. What we'll be doing today is one of our biggest things with Herdwatch. We batch all the calves. Now, because these calves were just shot out of the shed, they weren't put into a batch, their numbers weren't recorded. What we do, and we'll show you later on when we're doing it, is we record the calves numbers, put them into a batch on Herdwatch, and then we know, not only do we know how many calves is in the batch, but we know all the numbers of all the calves in that batch. So if we ever have an issue where we need to find X, Y and Z, we can type it into Herdwatch, we know which batch is in, we know where to go. This year Liv is calling them Alpha, Beta, Charlie, Delta is the next one. Liv's naming them. And what other advantages of putting them in batches when it comes to dosing them, we can select the product and the batch, and all the calves that are in that batch are recorded as being dosed, rather than having to individually select each calf as you go through it or try and read tags and select them. That makes that job very, very easy. But if you want to learn more about Herdwatch, we link in the description down below, and Liv will pop in some things as we always do in it. But yeah, we're going to get sorted. So put on the trailer and we take out our 10 calves we want to take out. So which, them two anyways.
Yeah.
Pair of pets. And we get stuck into it. So, we have 11 calves picked out. They're not too bad. There's, I think, 1 or 2 we might put back on milk, and others will go on the other side of the lawn, or I think maybe 20 off the lawn. We've a lot of good calves on the lawn that have come to rightly. We have 24, 21. We've turned into we've got 30 camera. Turned into a right lump of a calf, and he was a guy who was actually quite sick. Right, close it up there, bro. All these lads are grand. So before we let them out, we want to go through them and take their tag numbers of each of them.
Yeah, we can let them out
one at a time and record them. So I might do that before we go off and let that shower pass before we let them out on the lawn. And while we have bro here, because he's just waiting for it to stop raining too.
So I might go home
we get these lads back out of the shed, and while I know it is raining, they've been out for a week in mixed weather, but they also have the clump there, which is the bunch of trees in the middle of the paddock. So, and if it does dry up, I'll go out to 35 in the finger bar and I'll do a bit of topping, try and knock them docks back a bit. Anyways, we get these lads out of the shed and into batch. What batch are these going into? Delta.
Delta.
He's into batch Delta. So we have 53 gone out there. There's 2 more Liv wanted that we missed. That lad who does need to go on. Another lad out there the other side who I think he's alright, but I think he's a bit of a pet for Liv, so Liv wants to move him to the lawn. So yeah, pass and shower at the minute, but they're happy. We get the other lads onto the lawn. There's too many more out there to put out another 20, so we'll have to find somewhere else to go with 20 calves. I like to keep the batches around 50 because it's a nice number. It's a nice round number. Many more than that and kind of gets hard to manage all of them. So we're on the avenue. We have calves on milk twice a day that side and calves getting milk every now and again that side. And
What?
3400 is fine. Yeah, I think I'll go with them too.
Yeah.
Come on, you. Come on. If you all run them into the shed. So, bro's been in the bin. So that's that side. So he's straight into the lick. So we're going to take it 20-ish. The ones that are flying it out there out. So what happened was that shed in there shut out. We show how all the calves that were in there out to here. We took the lesser lads, they're that side of the lawn, and we brought in calves that needed milk that we're after taking them few calves out. We brought them, put them in there and put some that side. And that's a week ago now, and there's calves there don't need to be there now, they're absolutely flying it. We'll go do something with these now and figure out what we're going to do, because we want to start a new batch. We're just trying to figure out where to start a new batch. So yeah, we get stuck into it. So we're just backing down to the Fairfield bottoms because I'll definitely not get turned down there. So yeah, it's fun, but I was a bit ambitious with my 20 calves. We got 10. Probably didn't help that with the bit of rain. Calves were looking a little bit raggy themselves, so it's really why the fullest ones we took. Might be another 5 in a day or so, but we took out 13 and we got 10 away, so it's not going the way I'd like it to be going, but however, can't have it everywhere. We now know group Delta is safe enough. These guys are going to group Beta. Just put these down with a batch that has lots of grass ahead of them and they'll eat it a little bit quicker. So we eventually get back down to the Fairfield palms. We'll let them out, record them, add them to the batch. But yeah, and when we get back up then we'll feed them lads milk, and yeah, that'll be all with calves for today, and it'll be another week. So we're down here with group Beta. So these are the second guys off the feeder. So they respect the fence anyways. Off to go. And they have great shelter up here. It's a bit of an annex. Good high trees all around. So this brings this batch to 60. There's 3 the wrong side of the wire. And again, a bit of a dock issue here that hopefully a bit of topping. Oh yes, numbers, phone. 2414. 4186. 4144. 3387. 40, I gave you that, didn't I? Yeah. I think that's it. Is that another 10? Go on. Paddock raising them to try and reduce the worm burden if we can. So, try and go around all the calves, show you them and how they're doing. But yeah, we're not going to be moving any more calves off the lawn. That's it for a while now. But yeah, we'll show you the rest of the calves, the other batches. We'll let you know how this year went. We bait on back to the yard, the sum total of 100 meters it is. This time I gotta go forward though, not backwards. So, I think it could be 2 weeks since we filmed the last, and we're now doing the round to show you the calves, and yeah, we feed them. So we're here where we've been. It's a long way up to the top. But yeah, we've one side, that side is empty. We still haven't pretty much full of that side, so we need to get rolling the last of our barley, beans and oats from last year, and we're going to be supplementing that with the calves. What we're feeding at the minute is Liffey Mills Wean and Rare Nut. The calves are actually really eating it very well. So, and then we're giving some seaweed too. Some Sea-Lac seaweed. So it's just extra minerals and vitamins and antioxidants and all that good stuff. We've been using it. How long have we been using the seaweed?
4 years.
4 years now. And we like it. We'll get these bags filled up, popped into the gator, and we go do the rounds. That was lucky. What made the fish blush?
The seaweed.
The seaweed. So, we also are giving the calves hay out with grass to try and help beat the summer scour, as it's called. So it's just to try and keep the calves dung dry and to help with developing the rumen. The big square bales, heck of a lot easier than the round bales. Big square bales you just take flakes off. But so down here with her lovely crop of docks, there's the calves. We're going to move them onto the Fairfield bottoms, or not Fairfield, the bottom square, next one on. Father Phil has got to spray a couple of fields of docks, so these will be getting hit now once the calves are gone off them. But they have it fairly well. It wants to be topped as well. Take a lot of the chonyins away. No, you couldn't do this in the gym because that's quite wet where we're after going through. So hopefully now they'll follow us. That's the one thing I'm afraid of. They may not. God! 6! They're so used to going up there for food. I don't know whether they'll follow us down here. God! This could be fun, I think. So, we're going to set up our troughs, pour out the meal, hopefully they come. You can see yourself a meadow grass down here for them. So, we have them all moved now. This is batch Delta.
Yeah.
So, we have some mediocre calves here and we have some really nice calves. A lot of calves here at the minute are only mediocre lads. But the nice calves are all down at the trough now, so we'll drive a lot of these down to the trough.
We're full bellies there.
Yeah, these are the last calves that come out of the shed that we graded as being grand. You've seen that start the video. Here with the rest of the batch, we'll stop there now. But we've quite a lot of good calves here, especially the bigger lads. Bigger lads done well. There's one calf here, if I can find him, I'll show you. 4137. Can't just see. There he is there. 4137. He's one of our, as you call them, miracle calves. That lad was on his last legs in the shed, and between myself and Liv, stomach tubing him and whatnot, we got him going. And he's out, and he's happy as Larry, isn't he? The issue I have now is the bulls are the other side of the river, and they're very intrigued as to what's going on. So normally too we'd split this field in two and we'll graze it in two halves, but the issue we've always had with that is the drinker is at the very far end, so you can split, give them the top half, and then when it comes to the bottom half they have no water, and then you have to put this wire up. A bit of a mess. The drinker needs to be moved. We also have a job to do with all our drinkers, bringing around stone and the Massey 50 and putting in nice bases, but won't be done anytime soon. Yeah, that's them. Happy out. Fresh move of grass.
What's that?
In the video now. So this is batch beta. These were the second out of the shed. So there's quite a mix here. So we have really good lads, like him. Also, excuse the docks, this is another one of our bad fields. There's two worst fields we have: Fairfield Bottoms and the Clump, and the Strawberry because the spray. But you can see we have some super big calves here, great calves. And we also have little lads that aren't just as good. I'll explain at the end of the video everything. But so when we were putting out this batch, we were taking them out of hay shed, and we had a lock of calves that we were afraid were going to go either way. When I say either way, that we were afraid they were going to die. We had got them out of, there's ducks. The voice thinks it's her duck that flew away. Not a chance. But anyways, so we had the lock of calves, we were afraid we were going to go either way. So we said, Beckett, we said we get them out of the shed. We thought the shed was our biggest issue. We get them out of the shed. We got them out of the shed, and they are coming to quite nicely. There's one lad here. Where is he? Buster. Here he is here. He's busy getting his meal, his fill of meal, aren't you, Buster? But Buster, Liv told me one night, she says, I said goodbye to him. That's how bad he was. Out flat, dying. Liv said goodbye to him. He's still here. What'd you do that got him back?
I gave him that charcoal stuff.
You gave him charcoal? And he come too. You gotta talk about it. So Liv doesn't want to talk about it, but she got him back. And there was a lot of calves here that way that were very, very close. We got them back, and we said, "Feck this, we're going to just get them out of the shed, and they come to quite nicely." We have had to bring a few back, 4 out here. 2 of them died. Yeah, it's been a tough year for us and the calves, but these guys are doing rightly now. They're on their second move, as you can see, and then they'll be going out to the next field for their next move. But they're doing rightly. Just keep an eye on a few of the smaller ones, but so far the majority of them, they're doing all right. Move on to the back. So we're on the lawn with the few that remain. Well, you probably tell there's a good few less calves than there was here at the start of the video, even though we did take some away, but a good few of them didn't make it. So we just checked that everyone, there's a guy up there I'll go look at. But these are last lads to come out of the shed. Thought couldn't just come off milk, so we put them out here. We were giving them milk. We kind of have them off milk now. They're eating meal very, very, very well, so we're hoping that'll do them. They are finished here in the lawn, so maybe in the next day or so we'll get them dosed, and then we're going to move these. Probably the other side lawn, there's good grass up there. But yeah, that's them. Not much to say, except for just have to keep a tight eye on these. These are just the ones that need to be watched, need a lot of minding. There's more of them up there. Liv has them up there, probably better ones up there too. And I just go check this guy in the corner, see how he is. And then the chickens loving life in their enclosure there. The geese are loving their sandcastle pond, and Ryan Gosling has got very big, so he has. And I can tell now his mother was the snow goose, not the Pomeranian goose, just by the way the feathers are coming on him. Or her, we still don't know that yet, but yeah, they love the pond. So we are here with Group Alpha, the first calves out of the shed, and by far the best calves. As you can see, some super duper calves here. I think most of our speckled parks are here too. There's one, there's another one there, I think there's another one somewhere. Probably a tree here. But yeah, these are best. We do have some little guys, but everyone here is doing very well. This batch hasn't given us any trouble, touch wood, so far. They've that side grazed, they're on their second paddock. The bulls have grazed the next two, so it's kind of got reset. It's in nice order. They have another good bit to go here, and then they'll be moved on to the next paddock. We'll move on to see batch Charlie, the last batch of calves. So here is batch Charlie, who have their hay out. So this is a really nice even batch of calves. This is the batch with all the speckled parks in it. We also, Chunkosaurus is here somewhere. Where's Chunkosaurus? I think this is Chunkosaurus. Yeah, there's Chunkosaurus. But look at his relation. That lad's an Aubrac, and he is by far one of the best Aubracs we've ever had. We have a great batch of calves here in batch Charlie. These are on their second paddock, so they were up next to the back of the yard, now they're down here. And the next big thing for us with the calves is a dose. So over the weekend we're going to start dosing them. And then one of the big advantages of Herdwatch and having all the calves in the batch is we put on our medicine onto Herdwatch, and then all we do is select dose, select the medicine, and select the batch. And all the calves are in that batch, all the numbers are in the batch, all them get recorded. We don't have to be going around reading all the tags. Makes life so much easier. But anyways, so to get to the punchline, why this year was so bloody bad. So probably one thing some of you may have recognized is this is the first calf video in a long time, really, because we had an awful run with the calves this year. One of the worst runs we've had in quite some time. I took a lot to film this too. That's why it's 2 weeks since we've done the first job till now, because it's just very hard when they're not going well to be able to bring yourself to film it. Not that just talk about how bad they've gone, but when you're in a bad mood it's very hard to actually pick up a camera and film. So to kind of explain what happened, so this year our mortality rate is massive. It's near enough on par with last year, which last year was quite a bad year, but it was down to the Jersey boys, which done exceptionally poor, and one other herd. The rest of the herds last year pretty good. It was a pretty good year apart from that, and the calves were looking fierce well. We fed Liffey Mills Elvor this year, same as last year, and you can see the good calves that didn't have any issues, they come well, fierce well, but the bad calves, the calves that got the issues, just broke our hearts. Got the rotavirus early on. Rotavirus on its own, maybe not the worst thing in the world. We had a few casualties, I think, with Scour at the time. We got most of them over. I think what happened to us was with the rotavirus, we gave them the vaccine for pastoral pneumonia 3-4 days after they come onto the farm, and in my theory is, maybe I'm wrong, maybe someone can back me up on it, is that they got the rotavirus at the same time we were giving them the vaccine, and then because they were trying to fight the rotavirus they didn't uptake the vaccine, and it left us then with the calves later on when we start getting into the pneumonia part of the year, which is just, I suppose, when the weather starts getting warm, the end of March, April, just very susceptible to pneumonia. Everything that's went to the lab so far, it's come back Pasteurella. We're waiting on the last one we sent to come back to see if anything change. I know that losing the calves is only going to put maybe 20 or 30 euro on their backs at most. It's not, even though with the increased expense in that, it's still, we're not going to lose money. Unless by the time these lads are going for the factory, the price of beef has fallen back to €3. We're okay that way, but it's the mental toll that losing that many calves takes on you is the real kick in the bollocks. I've actually been rearing calves since I was 12, but when I come home we start up the numbers, and every year for the 6 years I've been at home we've always had a bad calf year, and it's just, I got very hard to do anything with the calves. I couldn't pick up the camera and film them, and I just really, it's hard. It's very hard in the head when you lose so many calves. It's just, and I've spoken to people when we were at the pumpkin patch last year. I had 2 families that come to me and were chatting about calves, and they said the very same thing. It's just losing calves was hard. I was talking to someone at Nobbert, they said the same. They had a bad year with calves this year, and to be perfectly honest, I'm losing a lot of interest in the livestock at this stage. I'm fairly fed up of it now, to be honest. The correlation, what we think, 2 herds that done well and the rest of the herds very poor. The 2 herds that done well, 1 herd, no mortalities, 110% clean run so far, touch wood, stays that way. That guy there, they're old calves. We bought them calves, they were, I think some of them could have been 6 weeks old. They were old calves when we got them. The next best batch of calves, which is where the Speckled Park and Chunkosaurus, Dawbrak come from, they were old calves when we got them. They were 3-4 weeks old. All the other herds that we took calves off, they were young. They were 10 days, 2 weeks. They were as young as we can technically take, that we could move them into the herd. That's the only correlation that's there. And the reason we always prefer taking younger calves is for getting them trained on the feeder. The older calves are hard trained onto the feeder because the older calves become institutionalized to getting fed twice a day at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning and 6 o'clock in the evening. What we're going to change for next year, we have a couple of things in our minds what we're going to do. I'm not going to say them on the camera because you're probably far too familiar with us. We're great dogs to bark and not bite. I think that's the right way of saying it. We talk about a lot of things we're going to do and we never get doing them, like putting the Zehar on the straw blower, the 2725 in the straw blower, any of that stuff. We never get around to it. So I'm not going to say anything because I don't know exactly what we're going to do. And I know what people are going to say now. Some of the comments, they'll probably say, well, the big things, and you always hear it when you have issues with calves, is, oh, they probably didn't get enough colostrum. And people, then that's it. That was the problem, nothing else was the problem. And I really hate that when people just say it was the colostrum, it wasn't our fault, it was the man we bought them off, he didn't give them enough. I never like that excuse. I always like to think that the farmers do their best because they do know that if the calves don't go well for us, we won't be back next year to take the calves. And we take the calves no one else wants. I know we have Aubrax and that, but most of what we have is JEX, FRX. But yeah, it's been an incredibly tough year. We are going to make changes for next year. You know what other things people will say is, why don't you buy runners? Or why are the people who are into their lovely fancy cattle will be clapping their hands saying, you know, you should be buying good cattle, you should go out to the mart and be given 15 and 1700 for forward stores, or buying Wainlands and that whole crack. That's not for me. We're not in spending big money. They do the same job as any good big Charlie bullock. They just produce less beef, that's it. But it's every bit as good. I have no interest in going to the mart buying cattle. When it comes to people saying, why don't we buy lads that are reared? There's two problems with that. Is one, for the farmers that we're currently buying the calves off, to get them to rear them, some of them probably wouldn't be interested in that, so we'd have to go to other farmers to buy, and that would be upsetting around the work, as most of the farmers we buy our calves off we also work for, so breaking that link may not be that beneficial for us in the long run, if you know what I mean. The other thing is, we've bought reared calves in the past before, and with reared calves obviously you give more for them, and we've always seen we've had issues with reared calves where, like the last year we bought calves, I give a good money for them, reared calves, and then we lost a heap of them because it was the year we found out we were ivermectin resistant. And yeah, and the reason we'll always go for the calves is the calf costs us small money. We put in our inputs, still small money. You lose them, you're only out small money, no matter what point he dies at. Once he doesn't die in the shed nearly finished, up until that point you've only put a small amount into him. So if he dies, that breaks down over the rest of them. It's still only small money in the rest of the calves. You buy a more expensive calf, you buy a reared calf, you spend more money, you put more inputs in, that's bigger money. And he dies and you try and put it across the rest, it's a bigger lump. And you buy real expensive cattle, you lose a couple of them, you're not going to make money on any of the other cattle. But yeah, look, I'm going to stop ranting and raving, but that's the story with the calves. That's why there's been very little on them. And yeah, this year has really shook me with livestock now, and just hopefully now we look hopefully next year will be different. We'll see what changes we can make, see can we do a better job, see can we change the things, some of the things that maybe didn't help us this year, but it's been a very tough year. But anyways, look, I'm going to leave it at that for today's video. I have a video coming up on Belgian Blues versus Friesians, as we did kill our 3 Belgian Blue cattle this year. I still haven't got round to doing the statistics, but when I do, we'll have that video. That'll probably be the next cattle video. But look, hopefully we're over the worst with this year's calves now. Hopefully they're starting to look a bit better now. I think we've lost all the dodgy ones at this stage, but it's just been a very, very tough year. But look, we're going to leave it at that for today's video. We'll try and keep the sunny side out and mind yourselves. And that is it from me. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday. Good luck.